The High Court has ruled that 7 James Hardie non-executive directors did breach corporate law over the company's asbestos compensation fund. Now, business reporter Sue Lannin covered the original trial and has been following this case. Sue, this is a big decision from the High Court.
Yes, it's actually the High Court's upheld a landmark 2009 decision in New South Wales that the 7 former James Hardie directors, including Meredith Hellicar, who was the very prominent chairwoman of James Hardie, they broke the Corporations Act because they approved a statement about asbestos compensation that went to the stock exchange in 2001. Now, that statement said that the asbestos fund that James Hardie had set up to compensate victims of asbestos-related diseases had enough money when in fact it didn't. So the High Court's actually upheld the original judgment, saying that the 7 former non-executive directors did break the law, and also the 3 former executives that were also brought to trial by ASIC broke the law as well.
And this was at the time when James Hardie was moving to the Netherlands, is that right?
Yes, and that's partly, this is one of the reasons that ASIC brought the case. The move to the Netherlands was one of the reasons for the shortfall in the asbestos fund. In the meantime, James Hardie's also moved to Ireland to get cheaper tax rates, so that's not related to this case. The fund was left with a shortfall, and in the end the federal government and the New South Wales government had to set up a big asbestos compensation fund. James Hardie on an annual basis pays about 1/3 of its free cash flow into that fund. So people are getting compensation now, but during the global financial crisis, because James Hardie made losses because of the downturn in the US housing market, in fact, governments have had to fill in that shortfall, although they're starting to pay back into the fund now.
So what are the implications then from this decision for these 7 non-executive directors? They're all non-executive directors?
Yes, that's right. So independent directors, meaning they don't have a hold a company position. So this case now will go back to the Court of Appeal, which overturned the original 2009 judgment. It means that the original penalties will probably be considered again. So at the time, the judge ruled that the former non-executive directors, so Meredith Hellicar and the other 6, would face fines of $30,000 and would be disqualified for 5 years. Now, also, there's another, the former company secretary, Peter Saffron. He's also faces 7 years disqualification and a $75,000 fine.
Now, I'm putting you on the spot a bit here with this next question, but do we know what those 7 non-executive directors are doing now? Like, have they all stayed with James Hardie, or have some of them stayed with James Hardie, or have they gone off to do different things?
As far as I know, none of these people are with James Hardie anymore. After the original judgment came down, a number of them stepped down from their corporate positions. For example, Meredith Hellicar stood down from the board, from the company boards that she was on. Other executive directors stood down, such as Peter Wilcox. He was on the Telstra board. So none of those people remain with James Hardie. But again, James Hardie is involved in this because, as part of the original judgment, it was fined $80,000.
And I'm guessing that this has broader implications, or the business community is watching this very closely in terms of the responsibilities of directors when statements like this are issued.
Yes, look, this case, when the first judgment came out in 2009, it really raised the bar for the responsibilities of directors. What it said was that directors have to be aware of what a company is doing. They can't just say, oh, well, we approved the board minutes, but we didn't know what was happening. In fact, during the original case, the judge called Meredith Hellicar a most unsatisfactory witness. So it does raise the bar for the responsibilities of company officers. They have to, as soon as they know something about a company, they have to release it to the stock exchange. And in fact, over the past couple of years, we have seen companies be much more diligent, although there still are issues. You know, we've seen the construction firm Lannin Holdings sanctioned recently by the corporate regulator. Also, there's a number of class actions which have been afoot. And that's also increasing the pressure on companies to basically inform the market as soon as they know what's going on.
And just so finally, no indication as to how soon we'll hear from it's the Court of Appeal you mentioned,
yes,
is it?
this case will go back to the Court of Appeal. No, the judgment's just come out about an hour ago. So the High Court's referred the matter back to the Court of Appeal for decisions on penalties.
Look at it again.
Yes.
Okay, Sue Lannin, thanks so much.